The one constant through all the years has been baseball. James Earl Jones found on a Google search. Naming athletic facilities after individuals is an incredible way for schools to honor them. First, I will explain the naming process for athletic facilities at LSU. Second, I will tell you about the history behind the Alex Box Stadium name. And third, I will tell you about the history behind the Skip Bertman Field name. Now I'm going to tell you about the naming process for athletic facilities at LSU. For an athletic facility to be named after an individual, certain steps must be followed. And first, certain criteria must be met. The individual must have a significant connection to LSU, be of outstanding character, and have made significant contributions to society, LSU, or the state of Louisiana. If these criteria are met, then a written request for the name of a facility must be filled out using the official LSU facilities naming form, and then it must be submitted to the executive vice president and provost. From there, the request will be forwarded to the Committee on Naming University Facilities. The committee will review the request and then take a vote on it. The committee will then submit their recommendation to the executive vice president and provost. If the executive vice president and provost approve the recommendation, the naming will proceed. Now that I've told you about the naming process at LSU and the steps that must be followed, I'm going to tell you about the history behind the Alex Box Stadium name. Alex Box Stadium is named after the man Alex Box, who bravely fought and died in World War II. Alex originally played football at LSU, but during a game, he dislocated his shoulder and was forced to retire. He then played baseball for LSU. During some games, while he was playing in the outfield, his shoulder would dislocate again, but instead of sitting out the game, he would have an infielder run out, pop his shoulder back in, and then he would play the rest of the game. Alex was also part of the ROTC program at LSU. He graduated as a lieutenant in 1942 and was shipped off to North Africa to fight in World War II. While serving as a platoon leader, Alex destroyed enemy machine guns that were blocking his infantry's advance. For his bravery, he was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross. The next year, Alex was killed when a mine accidentally discharged. Not even a year later, the LSU Board of Supervisors unanimously voted to name the LSU baseball stadium after him. This was the first time that the service and memory of a military hero was so highly esteemed that a structure on campus was named after him. Now that I have told you about the history behind the Alex Box Stadium name, I'm going to tell you about the history behind the Skip Bertman Field name. Skip Bertman Field is named after the former LSU baseball head coach, Skip Bertman. He may not have fought and died in a war, but Skip has done incredible things for LSU and the Baton Rouge community. As the head coach at LSU, he led the team to 5 national championship titles and 7 conference championship titles. He finished his 18-season career with a record of 870 wins to 330 losses. He also was coached U.S. national baseball teams and U.S. Olympic teams that went on to win gold and bronze medals. After his coaching career, Skip served as the director for athletics at LSU from 2001 to 2008. Under his leadership, a new baseball stadium was built, and he helped grow interest in baseball from only 500 fans in attendance in 1983 to over 10,000 fans in attendance at games today. Skip continues to serve the Baton Rouge community to this day through organizations such as United Way, Cancer Services, and the Alzheimer's Association. Skip is a member of the LSU Athletic Hall of Fame, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, the National College Baseball Hall of Fame, and the National American Association of Baseball Coaches Hall of Fame. The LSU Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to approve the LSU Athletic Department's request to name the baseball field after him in 2013. Now I've told you about the history behind the Skip Bertman Field name and the incredible individual it honors. The sources I used were the LSU Policy Statement 70, the Baseball's Greatest Sacrifices article in Alex Box, and the WAFB article on Skip Bertman Field. To conclude, LSU has many steps in place so that it's not easy for just anyone to have the honor of an athletic facility being named after them. But in cases of extreme bravery, such as Alex Box, or cases of leadership and overall community service, such as Skip Bertman, LSU moves swiftly to make sure these individuals are honored. Baseball is not just a game, it is like life played out on a field. Juliana Hatfield, found on quoteambitions.com.